Hello and welcome back to another video. This is Outlander on the Sega Genesis. I have made various gameplay videos of this game in the past. It's not really about that, it's just really to conclude, I guess, my experiment into syncing the audio that's coming out of the speakers and being picked up by the microphone to the actual Elgato feed that's coming direct from the SCART selector from the various consoles. And in conclusion, I actually think it's impossible to have them both present at the same time without creating some degree of echo. I'm not even talking about delay. I spent several hours yesterday messing around with 64-bit OBS because, believe it or not, it actually changed between that and 32-bit the amount of delay, and I got it so it was pretty much spot on, but it always sounded as if like the voices were in an echoey room. So from this point forward, doing live streams and things, it's just going to be the sound coming through, which is in sync with the gameplay. The sound that's coming over the microphone is going to be the sound that you're going to hear. I'm going to cut out the direct feed from the Elgato. It's just too much like hard work messing about trying to eliminate it. So this is really the test, I suppose. Well, I suspect it'll come over fine because this is obviously the way I used to do things anyway. Never really had too many problems. The volume would have to be up exceptionally loud on the speakers for it to actually ruin the gameplay. In terms of sound mix anyway. So there is a town here, I've seen a sign. Yeah, you've got to watch stopping near these telegraph poles. I think I'm going to do exactly what I'm warning against. Okay, so we are going into the side-scrolling section. If you've never played this game before, I guess a little bit of brief history about this if you're not aware. It was actually developed in the UK, but it was only ever released on the Genesis in America. So it was actually going to be a Mad Max game, as you can probably tell, but unfortunately they lost the license or were unable to acquire it. It's one or the other. So these side-scrolling sections, they're not the greatest. You've got to sort of game the system a bit. You're best just to go for the old crouch punch, get them in the groin. You do get some ammo for your shotgun along the way, but you best try and conserve it, or else you get stuck in this sort of section like that, which is never good. But you're actually picking up fuel for your car, ammunition for your car, ammunition for your shotgun, as well as water, which affects your health, and food as well. But I've always had a soft spot ever since I discovered this game. It's by no means perfect, but I think if you're willing to give it a go and you're into the nature and the theme of the game, you'll get a kick out of playing this. It's flawed, but you know, I'm not expecting any game that I play on any of these systems to be perfect. You're always going to be able to find some kind of fault. It's actually more annoying these days with people finding faults. It's like the latest Star Wars movie. Like, I went to watch it. I'm a massive fan of the originals. I really enjoyed the new one. I know it's made by Walt Disney or whatever else, but I still really enjoyed it. I think it was a good experience. It's one of the best films I've ever seen at cinema. And you see a lot of people trashing it online, and they're going into immense details. This wasn't cohesive with the original story, and this, that, or the other, and that may well be true. But for your average consumer, someone like me, we're not going to be overly concerned about that. You can pick faults with the original trilogy if you want to. I'm trying not to look at things in that sort of, or from that sort of viewpoint, and try and look for the good in everything. And I think if you're that similar kind of person, big fan of the 16-bit machine from Sega, you probably like this game. I mean, let's, which we haven't so far, talk about this section here, the driver section. How many things are going on at once? You've got some excellent scaling going on for a start. You've got multiple windows. You've got numerous large sprites on the screen at once at times. You've got, of course, the cockpit view with not only working steering wheel and hand, but also the gauges move. When I say move, maybe they just flicker from side to side, but you know, you've got the window going on as well. You've got a pretty consistent frame rate. It's, in a way, a big shame this game was only released in America, therefore wasn't really given the audience it potentially could have had. It's a massive shame they lost the Mad Max license, because it could have been really something then in terms of sales. And of course this engine would have perhaps been used in more games on Mega Drive / Genesis, and that probably would have been a good thing. But alas, it wasn't to be. I mean, you look at the detail on these sprites here. How much you got flying around. We've got 3 bikes on screen at once. You've also got these windows opening up, which are very difficult to actually concentrate on whilst driving. Certainly not something I'm able to process. You've also got the rear view mirror. Now a lot of games, even later ones, Spirit of Speed on the Dreamcast, you know, they've not even got accurate rear view mirror, but we're seeing it nicely here. So there's 2 bikes chasing us. Now what we haven't seen is me run into a biker and then fly over the top of the actual car, so let's see if we can get that happening. Of course, potentially this video might not work out at all, and I'll just be in my room talking to myself. Well, technically I'm in my room talking to myself, but you know, it does seem a bit pointless talking to yourself when you're repeating facts you already know. So they are purely for the benefit of the viewer. Now what you have to be careful of is there are other little towns in between the places where its sound goes to stop, and if you stop there it's pretty much impossible to get out of it, because you just find there's loads of these biker gangs there. Loads of bikes come flying down the road. There's not really the pickups like in the other ones, and you can get from one side to the other, but it's a lot more difficult than these town sections. Also a big shout out to the gritty soundtrack. Something special I think on this game's soundtrack. Continue awarded. That's something you can definitely benefit from, especially when your health's this low. There we go. Doing a bit of Donald Trump action there, grabbing her by the pussy. What's the best thing to do if you've not got much ammo? Amazing that they were stashing car ammo in that barrel, because you'd think it'd be some kind of liquid, but I suppose they were just trying to disguise it as best they could. Health's looking good now. Building it up. So I've never completed this game. I have got quite deep into it. Very little really changes in regards to the actual gameplay. It just gets more and more rampant, the amount of abuse on the roads. The bikers start throwing a lot more stuff at you. How they don't blow themselves up trying to do that on a motorbike, quite beyond me. Would have liked to have seen a road rash game on this engine. There you go. That's what I was looking for. That's a lovely little effect, that. And this game was also released on the Super Nintendo, although it's actually third person on the Super Nintendo, and obviously nowhere near as dark. Nintendo infamous for their censorship, certainly during the 16-bit eras. was the stark difference between Sega and Nintendo. I'm sure many people remember it. Oh, bloody hell. You don't see it often, then you see it twice in less than a minute. Unbelievable. I'm just thinking at the back of my mind if this engine had anything to do with Test Drive 2 on the Mega Drive. I think it might be quite similar, the actual driving engine. I don't know. Oh, did you see that? You must have seen it. I'm sure it took his head off. That's the first time I've shot anyone from the side as far as I'm aware. Well, that is the first time I was looking as well, so... Oh, look at that, taking that bike on the sun there. That's, you're seriously asking for trouble doing that. Oh. So Mindscape, I believe, are the publisher on this. May well have been a developer as well. I know when I've done gameplays of this game before, a lot of people have said, you know, it's not really their kind of thing, and oh, it looks like I'm getting the bikers anyway. These are a pain in the neck. Oh, you bastard. Yeah, they're not pleasant sections. Oh, I've been shot down. So I think I'll leave it there because it's going to be a long video, but just wanted to test out what it's like with the sound coming out of the speakers. Thank you for watching. Hopefully upload some more soon. There's my big score time. Check it out.